Corey and we were close for a while. And then Kylie and I had a big sister fight, and he tried to intervene into it. And so that caused a little problem between us. We apologized and we got over it, but it just kind of stayed here. It never really did this.
Kendall had been in a serious relationship with Corey for several years. While they managed to keep a relatively low profile, their relationship wasn't without controversy. Kendall, who prided herself on her independence and her ability to navigate life on her own terms, found herself in a situation where her relationship with Corey had become a point of concern for her family, particularly her mother, Kris Jenner. Kris, the matriarch of the family, was always fiercely protective of her children. Known for her sharp business acumen, she had steered the Kardashian-Jenner clan to global fame, making strategic decisions for their careers and personal lives. However, the situation with Kendall's relationship was different, pushing Kris to a breaking point. In a shocking turn of events, Kris found herself begging her daughter to reconsider her relationship with Corey, ultimately urging her to end things for the sake of Kendall's happiness and well-being. At first, Kendall's relationship with Corey seemed like a positive influence on her life. He appeared supportive of her career and was a stabilizing figure in her world. However, over time, cracks began to show. Kendall, who had always been the quiet and reserved member of the family, started exhibiting signs of stress. Her usually positive and energetic attitude began to fade, and those close to her noticed that something was amiss. Kris, being the observant and protective mother she was, immediately picked up on these changes in Kendall. She noticed her daughter withdrawing from family events, canceling plans, and becoming increasingly distant. Kendall, who was usually so open about her feelings and goals, seemed to be hiding her emotions, leaving Kris deeply concerned. After weeks of watching her daughter suffer in silence, Kris couldn't wait any longer. She called Kendall over to her house for a private conversation. Kendall, who had been avoiding her mother's calls for days, finally agreed. As she walked into Kris's home, the tension was palpable. Kris had never looked so serious. They sat down in Kris's private study, and the air between them was thick with unspoken words. Kendall sat across from her mother, her usual calm demeanor replaced by nervous fidgeting. She could sense that this meeting was different from any they'd had before. Kendall wasn't sure if she was ready for what Kris had to say. Kris wasted no time addressing the elephant in the room. "Kendall, I need to talk to you about something important. It's about Corey," she began, her voice calm but firm. "I know you've been going through a lot, and I've been patient, but I can't keep pretending that everything is okay when I can see it's not." Kendall looked down, avoiding her mother's gaze. She didn't want to admit that Kris was right. She didn't want to talk about how things had gotten so complicated with Corey. She loved him, but couldn't ignore the growing distance between them. Still, she wasn't ready to confront those feelings. Kris continued, her voice tinged with concern. "Sweetheart, I love you more than anything in this world, and I can see you're struggling. You've been distant, you're not the same Kendall I know. I want to know what's going on. I want to help." Kendall's eyes welled up with tears as she looked at her mother. The weight of the situation, of everything she had been holding in for so long, came crashing down on her. She had tried so hard to make her relationship with Corey work, but deep down, she knew it wasn't right. Yet, she couldn't bring herself to face the truth. "I don't know what to do, Mom," Kendall whispered. "I love him, but I feel so lost. I feel like I'm losing myself in this relationship. Corey has been different. I don't know who he is anymore, and I don't know if I can keep going like this." Kris's heart broke as she listened to her daughter. Kendall had always been the one to keep her emotions in check, to remain calm in the face of adversity. But now, she was clearly broken, and Kris knew something had to change. "Kendall," Kris said softly, "I don't want you to keep suffering like this. You deserve to be happy. You deserve someone who lifts you up, someone who sees your worth. Corey is not that person." Kendall was taken aback by her mother's words. "Mom, I don't know what you mean," she said, her voice shaking. Kory and we've been together for a long time. I don't know if I'm ready to walk away from him." Kris leaned forward, her face filled with emotion. "Sweetheart, I'm not saying this because I don't like Kory. I'm saying this because I love you. I want you to be the best version of yourself, and I don't think this relationship is helping you. Kendall, to do that, you need to focus on your happiness, and right now, that's not with him," Kris said firmly. The conversation was intense, and for the first time in a long while, Kendall began to realize her mother was right. She had been so caught up in her relationship with Kory that she had lost sight of who she was. She had sacrificed her happiness for the sake of a relationship that no longer made her feel fulfilled. For weeks, Kendall reflected on her mother's words. She spoke to her sisters, confided in her friends, and took time for herself. Slowly, she began to see how her happiness had been tied to external factors, her career, her relationship with Kory, but she hadn't been prioritizing herself. As Kendall embraced her independence, she realized she didn't need Kory to be happy. She didn't need anyone to define her self-worth. She had always been enough on her own. Eventually, Kendall made the difficult decision to end her relationship with Kory. It wasn't easy, and it came with heartbreak, but it was a step she needed to take for her well-being. As she navigated the challenging road of healing, she found comfort in her family, her inner strength, and the knowledge that she had made the right choice. The decision to walk away from Kory Gamble was one of the hardest things Kendall Jenner had ever done, but it was also a decision that helped her reclaim her life and happiness. Kris Jenner's intervention marked a turning point in Kendall's emotional journey, leading her to better understand herself and her needs. While the road ahead may still hold challenges, Kendall knows she can count on her family to support her every step of the way. And as for Kris, she once again proved that a mother's love knows no bounds. Sometimes, tough love is the key to helping a child find their way. What do you think about Kris Jenner's intervention in Kendall's relationship? Do you believe Kendall made the right decision? Share your thoughts below. Or do you think there's more to the story? Don't forget to share your thoughts in the comments section below. If you enjoyed this story, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to this channel for more exclusive updates on the Kardashian-Jenner family. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time with more insider info and exclusive stories. Stay tuned to this channel.